Now with the programming and planning off to a great start, it's time to start working on some of the schematic phases of design, which includes conceptual sketching. Sketching's pretty different for everybody. Some people really enjoy it and some people do not. But I like to think at this stage, if you can at least put out some, really quick little thumbnail drawings, it's going to help you visualize what the final piece could potentially look like. And it's your chance to put all the research into a visual for the very first time. Important step. What I like about conceptual sketching also is that it helps me develop the right solution over many tries. So I'm not necessarily choosing just the first solution or the only solution. I see a lot of junior designers tend to not want to play with options at the beginning. They just want to go like from idea to finalization. But honestly, I think that playing with ideas is the most professional thing that you can do at this point. I sort of equate it to wedding dress shopping. Sorry, fellas, this may not be your favorite subject, but I'm sure that everybody here has seen Say Yes to the Dress or at least knows about it. When a person goes wedding dress shopping, they don't pick out just one dress, try it on, and say, "Sold!" Heck no, they don't. The whole point of wedding dress shopping is to find the perfect dress. Is it mermaid style, A-line, ball gown, or maybe even Grecian inspired? Every dress is going to be different for every person. And sometimes you have to try on the wrong dress to know how to find the right dress too, right? You know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? So it's the same with schematic design. You have to play with lots of ideas to be able to know the right one when you see it. You all have such creative brains, and it's time to put those to good use. So I actually want you all to get an opportunity to do some conceptual sketching yourself. I mean, you've seen the last couple videos. You know what the design problem is, that Adam and Rachel need a new contemporary or modern looking reception desk that needs to be accessible and seat two people behind it. See how quick and easy and simple that design problem was stated? So with everything that you've heard today, what are your ideas for this reception desk for the client? Tell you what, grab a few pieces of plain paper, a pen. I'll give you 6 minutes to come up with as many different looks and styles as you can. Just little thumbnail elevations of a reception desk. Feel free to use the internet to help you get inspired, but don't outright copy what you see. I want to see you combine ideas. I want to see you get inspired by different design elements like color combinations, uses of different materials, different like height levels or depth levels, different lines, different shapes, different forms, different patterns. And just so that you understand what I'm looking for, here are a couple of drawings of a hutch that I did. I just quickly sketched them out, took maybe a minute each, maybe. Sketch as best as you can sketch, but still do it quickly and fast. Your goal for this little drawing session that, yes, we're actually going to do, is to have at least 6 thumbnails drawn in 6 minutes. Now, don't beat yourself up if you can't get that many. It's just a brainstorming session. But if you can draw more than 6, heck yeah, go for it. Think of all those shading techniques we've learned in the past, the hatching, cross-hatching, stippling, scribbling. Pause the video, put some good music on for 6 minutes, get some visuals down on paper. Are you ready? Get set, go! All right, the drawing session is over, and I hope everybody came up with some great ideas. Just so that I can show you and explain to you my train of thought and reasoning behind my drawings, I'm going to share the drawings that I completed. I really like the idea of having an open middle so that the two people sitting behind the desk can have, kind of like their own computer space and their own privacy for getting work done. The middle will be an accessible transaction counter that is great for including those who are shorter in stature or who may be in a wheelchair. I like the idea of the desk being open underneath for the best accessibility options, but I may play with ways to give a little more leg and feet privacy under the desk for the workers. Maybe a small drawer on the backside right underneath the counter for some minor storage needs. Not sure, just kind of playing around. Do you see how I was able to not only explain what about my design, but also why I chose it that way? That is essential for any designer to be able to do as a client. Explain what and why. Now, if you're in my class, we're going to pause the video so that you can pair up with somebody else in the class and explain your designs to them, but you're going to explain it in terms of what, like the materials, the shape, the form, but I also want you to get practice explaining why, and that's where I want you to go back on the research. So because of ergonomics, because of aesthetics, because of accessibility, color theory, like get specific with the whys. Moving forward, be it on a poster or a verbal presentation or any project that any of your instructors give you, start looking at not just what you're designing, but also why you're designing it. That's how you're going to strengthen your designs. So let's get to practicing as though you're explaining it to your partner who is going to be kind of like your client. Great job, everybody. The next step would be to plan out what's happening on the back side of the reception desk. So, we did a really great job with the front. Now it's time for the back. So again, I want the accessible counter and the desk space to be the same level. I want to include like grommet holes for equipment cords to go into the counter and down under the desk. I would also like task lighting to be placed under the transaction counters up above to kind of give Adam's workers a little bit more flexible lighting options. A nice smooth surface for countertop, a mix of wood, metals, and turquoise still, perhaps a turquoise stone look laminate on the counters just to kind of keep the cost down. And I do think it's important for a small pencil drawer or something to kind of be placed back there. Now, don't feel that you can only have one drawing session, and don't feel like you can't go back and work some of the programming aspects more. I'm here to tell you that design is not linear. You are going to find yourself going back and forth and to and fro when it comes to kind of planning things out. And that's an important key to know that you're doing design right. It's not linear. Once you feel that you have a thumbnail sketch or sketches that you like, you're going to need to get approval from your client. So you don't necessarily want to show them the messy thumbnails. Make sure to take your top 3 or so, draw them out a bit nicer for presentation purposes, but also bring along those thumbnail sketches just in case they don't like the ones that you're pitching to them. It's always a good idea to sketch as nicely as you can, even when sketching out thumbnails, so there's less work for you to do later. The schematic design is also when you can look at materials and finishes, put together a finish board, and see what your clients gravitate towards. Now, once your clients approve of the materials and the design, like Adam and Rachel did for me, and you reconfirm the logistics like cost and deadlines, then it's time to move into design development, where you're going to draw up all the official papers that it's actually going to get this thing built.